Hello, everybody. We got ourselves the last championship match of this round, and we got the best casters that were available today. We got Yosh, hello,
Hello, hello.
and we
Yes,
got,
indeed.
and we also have Ponoob.
Hi, Chris.
How's it going? We got the gold, Skrewl00se and Rav. That's those people are pretty good.
Yeah, those are two names that we have heard previously quite an amount of times before. Rov is kind
Oh,
of
no.
riding the hype. I think he's the current champion of the Winter Cup, right? Isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I would say Rov would probably be pinned as like the third best active player currently. I mean, they were successful against players like Legorb and OP Wrights, and are probably also should be considered the favorite here in gold in this gold match. Hurlers himself, though, is no slouch.
Yep, that is true. I mean, they don't get the gold by accident. That's for sure.
Well,
I mean,
the winner of this match will get into Platinum even, so
yeah. I
maybe he
mean,
will get into Platinum by accident. I don't know.
yeah, maybe. All right. Anyhow, added an extra W to Skrewl00se's name because I missed one. Anyway, I think we're ready to go. Let's jump into the draft here. So these
Oh,
players like occlusion venues apparently.
and as per tradition, a good player bans balcony because they are afraid of random balcony stuff.
Yeah.
While Skrewl00se decides to ban high rise, another one of those more AI-ish venues where you can definitely get a few safe shots just on
Yeah.
someone who
Yeah.
does
So
a
sim
little bit too much.
So yeah, similar-ish venues that are being banned by both players, and then pub, maybe another one where an AI could complete is being restricted.
Yeah, we're
It's
gonna see a
actually
lot of party guests and a lot of cover. The only
Yep.
occlusion venue I think we're missing really is Tayan.
Yeah.
Instead, we're gonna have some Terrace and pub.
Yeah. Terrace.
Rob,
That's interesting.
yeah,
Has
despite the campy nature, is willing to play these three of X's like Terrace and Pub.
yeah. I'm
And
surprised.
it's
I
actually
mean,
pretty interesting. We don't have any 5 out of 8s. I think in more as you go higher up the skill ladder, those become more and more preferred by players.
yeah, the reason that you would not pick a 5/8 in this match is it kind of wastes your pick. If you expect the snipers to win every single 5/8, then you're not picking a venue that is giving you an advantage while your opponent is still getting to pick their favorite venues. So I think not picking something like library, which is very common in these like long sets, especially, is clever.
Yep. All right.
Well,
Anyway, I think we're ready to go here. We got. Let me just set this character right. Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, we're good to go. We got Rav as the first spy here.
Yeah, I'm showing Rob as rocker.
Yep.
You're near the ambassador
Yeah, right
on
next to the
Redwoods.
ambassador. We could be
oh
going.
no.
Oh man, and yeah, well, the ambassador is visible.
We
Rav
do
is
have a
not
drinking
at
man.
the
Yeah.
start, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. We're all in the right spot here. This is going to be our first game of the match here for a spot in Platinum. Rob versus Skrewl00se. Rob as rocker in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Well, it appears that the ambassador decided not to get bugged, which I believe is the correct option by them. As a reminder for the match format, I believe we are playing first to 9 games won.
Correct.
We'll get the spot. And yeah, as of now, just getting our first flirt. 51% on that progress bar. Pretty nice for us. And yeah, just gonna stand around and let the eyes do some things.
Yeah, we definitely have the option here to timer flirt if we just keep this conversation going. And with someone like Redwoods, the clock suspiciously ticks faster than you'd expect. While it's a relatively small venue and missions are all pretty well packed, we do actually see players running into time trouble quite often, so getting this early 51% is very helpful. If it's not going to be us finishing flirts because the seduction target is going to things like middle statues, That might be a good frame target. We've got options here.
To be fair, the venue is kind of balanced with that way. You do have a lot of occlusion, and the missions are relatively easy to do regarding that, so the time is a little bit on the lower side, and as you might know, there is a pretty quick and easy way to fix those issues. A green time at 45 seconds on the clock. Of course, the sniper does not necessarily know about that because it was a green test, but they might infer it by the fact that the clock in that right upper corner is ticking down suspiciously slow.
Highlight for the briefcase pickup, and it does have the fingerprint on it. We are getting the fingerprint. Rob going the wrong way, seemingly, with the briefcase. And we'll see if this is going to be a highlight for a route highlight, or if this is going to be high suspicion, because it did feel like Rob did go across the party to pick up that briefcase. It might have been illegal in Skrewl00se's mind.
Well, our seduction target has just left the bar, so we could potentially try and get a list for them. But in this particular case, the conversation seems a little bit too crowded, so we just choose to go to yet another window, stare into the wilderness, and bide for a better opportunity.
I don't believe this is going to be close enough for the additional 49% that we need. The fake banana bread comes off. There's not going to be many low lights. General can be low lit and pearls at the back. Unfortunately, the suspected double agent is in our conversation, so we are getting credited with the mission. Skrewl00se probably thinks that Rob's done more than he has at this point.
We have gone to the bar to get our second flirt, which unfortunately is going to be a white test as our extra time runs out. We only have 85% on that progress bar. And with 4 missions needed to do and none of them actually completed so far, we are getting into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to consider who we're going to purloin to. It's going to be difficult for us to necessarily finish missions in a way that's not going to be seen by the sniper. But if we can delegate to one of the highlights in the party, and do so in a way that isn't just seen on camera, I think Rob still has good chances of someone being shot because we've already done a very good banana bread.
Well, we talk and send a twin, who unfortunately is not quite a highlight yet, and we leave the conversation. However, as soon as the list is gone, Skrewl00se is on top of it, gets our first sniper shot of the set, get ready to see a few more of those, I believe,
Yeah.
and gets a first point.
Yeah, it looks like Skrewl00se mostly saw the book pull, and the Rav didn't do any cycles there, so he just kind of.
Yeah, I think between the briefcase pickup, there was a few missed pads there early, just a few early game jitters. There was quite a few things for Skrewl00se to catch that are.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, Skrewl00se isn't trying. He may have noticed the purloin as well, because I mean that was also on screen. So,
Yep.
a lot of things worth dying for, or worth shooting for, all at once.
Skrewl00se on Spy here as Queen, and we're going to be playing some more Redwoods in 3, 2, 1, planet.
Fortunately, the seduction target is not quite what I would like to see here, but we'll make do with what happens here. Going to the bar, getting a drink pretty early on, that's a potential delegate down the line. If we can set it off in a way that Rov will get confused by, that might just be our ticket to victory.
47% on the flirt. The quick delegate here against someone like Rob, if you just play a very normal standard game, you're going to lose the vast majority of the time. So while it did feel like a bit of a stretch to try and get this delegate purloin and do it in a cheesy way, I think doing things here at the very beginning of the game is going to be one of Skrewl00se's options to potentially get something by Rob. Other options are going to be very powerful behind the bag bugs. The bug does not stick, though. We still have the option here. We are going to take it with a bit of cover here from the double agent holding the briefcase. And Rob hasn't really shown a sign that he's seen it. I think we might have got away with a bug.
Well, that's a mission done, and that is actually going to be the list taken care of as well. That very early delegate working in our favor as we have 2 missions done and neither of them are seduce or banana bread, both of which are pretty easily completed, I think, by the spies in this skill range.
Okay. Yeah, and for seduction target stays here. The only issue that we have currently is the double agent will not be entering our conversation. But thankfully, the double agent does enter the bad conversation to explain with the double agent. The double agent will never go into the same conversation as the suspected double agent, and while the sniper can't see that, and the sniper doesn't know which one's which, and the spy can't see that, we as casters and the audience know that Skrewl00se is never going to have Irish come into this conversation until the suspected double agent leaves. We might have to go over to them, and with Rocker leaving, now they might come to us.
The best part is with 2 hardtails completed, we have a minute, more than a minute even, to just get right next to that double agent, get that banana bread over with, contact the double agent, and finish our missions. It does seem like we have no suspicion on us at all, which means that we're probably not the one dying from this.
Yeah, we didn't do an immediate banana bread, which I think is a very healthy thing to do. Lasers being pulled up, I think that was flashing on Kane and not necessarily Skrewl00se. If it's on Skrewl00se, it might be because we're standing on Kane's foot. We did stuff ourselves in here a bit for no real reason. There was plenty of other space in this conversation. But we're really holding off. Double Agent has taken a sip. It's going to be another full animation that we could take, but Skrewl00se is being very patient. Here comes the banana bread. It's going to be a white test, but General is also talking. Gonna need to be a shot here. Double Agent leaves immediately. This might even add additional confusion. Skrewl00se might pull off a spy win against Rob. You're not going to see too many of those against Rob, and he's done it 100% of the times in this match so far. Skrewl00se takes the lead. That's 2-0, and definitely a necessary thing, because Skrewl00se is coming in here as a slight underdog.
Well, to be fair, it is Skrewl00se's doubled venue, so might need to get whatever they may have. And with a sniper game of theirs right now, can just secure an advantage after this first doubled venue.
Yeah, and I think the big moment here, beyond like just a few good decisions like the early delegate, was the opportunity given to us by the ambassador. But Skrewl00se not taking it immediately. He waited until the double agent gave us a bit more cover, really taking his time with a bug. And in SpyParty, it's those moments, it's those tools that matter so often. And is now 2-0 up with Rob playing Orange Sorry, trying to get just a single win on the board here so far. Let's do it. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
There is a slight issue with Orange Sorry, in my personal opinion. Redwoods is a pretty small venue, so it's not as evident, but Orange Sorry is actually the slowest guest in the game, and those increased walking times might just be the things that makes or breaks this game. However, we start the game off at the bar, we start the game off with 51% on the flirt, so trying to alleviate our disadvantages as hard as we possibly can.
One cute little thing here on this particular venue that we're on is there are 5 out of the 6 statues are showing as the Venus statue, like what is considered the medium height or the second of the 3 statues. When people are doing memorization tools, there is one head. If Rob wants to go swap that head, they could match all of the statues, and I believe that's like a slot machine. You get to win the game immediately when all things are matching.
I have to point out the small cheeky play. We chase our seduction target after the bar, and with a second green, that means our first mission is done and we don't have to figure out where and when we need to weave flirt into our game plan just so we get to finish that mission, allowing us to focus on things that are slightly harder to get past the eye of the sniper.
Okay, Rob's starting here with their first statue. With inspects on Redwoods, you often don't see the inspect swap because the middle statue, if you will, is not actually a statue. It will be either the green or red book. But if Rob does try and end with an inspect swap, and they make it be a falcon, there are no falcons on board. It will be very easy for Skrewl00se to memorize.
Well, an inspect microfilm is in the cards potentially, but I don't think that would
Banana bread.
necessarily be the case. A banana bread is off. It's going to be a green one. There are a few lowlights. Not as many as I would have believed, but there is a highlight on us.
Skrewl00se making a good decision here. It was a very strong banana bread, but the biggest conversation didn't have an SDA, and so they're acting upon that. They low lit or brought down to medium neutral, if you will, the
Banana bread.
highlights they had that were fake, and they highlight this front conversation. A second banana bread here for a bit of confusion, but it doesn't really add much. Everybody was in the same conversations as they were previously, so I'm not sure who we would be framing with that, other than adding a bit of noise, which is a healthy thing to do if it's not going to result in more lowlights.
The biggest issue is that second banana bread was a white test, so we could potentially get some additional flag for that, but I don't think that necessarily matters as much as the fact that we only have 35 seconds on the clock. Moving into that bookshelf, trying to finish our inspects and look for that fourth mission that we need to get over with.
If a shot doesn't come off on us or otherwise here while we're doing the inspects, we have two big options. The ambassador is still in the realm. We could definitely bug. We could also walk away with the book and slam it in. It would need to be now. It's going to be a bug almost assuredly, and we'll see if Skrewl00se or Rob
10
is
seconds to
going
go.
to.
And
Rob
that
tries to
is
get clever with it, and it doesn't work. The ambassador just decides that the play is not
2 seconds,
to be
1
rewarded.
second.
Rob takes a little bit there at the end, but with the laser latency, it reacts too late to Skrewl00se lining up the shot, and good stuff there from Skrewl00se. Just waiting till the overtime, no need to take the shot immediately, and with the overtime beep starting, taking the shot almost immediately. Gave it a second after the overtime. With the bug only happening with 2 seconds, he had plenty of time to line up the shot despite the trees.
Yeah, I like the patience because there are plenty of moments where you could have potentially even phantomed the bug in there, and shooting a little bit too early just results in a safe shot, which would be a pretty big tilter. However, waiting for the overtime allows us to believe that, to know that first of all that was actually a bug, and second of all that Roth does actually have 4 missions over here.
Yeah.
So pretty nice
And
patience.
the
on
first
this
3
side.
missions were quite countable too, right? It's going to be inspects, which you should definitely be catching at this level, contact, which we highlight for, and then flirt, which, while we got it very early in the game, we kind of are always going to assume if you're a camper or campy enough like Skrewl00se and Ruv to just not be necessarily hard counting every flirt in the game. Skrewl00se 3-0 up, thanks to Koopa in chat, has noted that Rob has never started a competitive set down 3-0. So, with that, we're going to need to see a bit of resolve here from Rob. They do get their favorite spot. It is going to be Sniper, but they're still playing on Redwoods, and we just saw Skrewl00se get a win. Skrewl00se pulling out one of the less renowned characters, Sam and Danger, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
That does mean that Roth has never started a game down 0-4. Might this be the one game that changes it? Who knows, only time will tell.
Skrewl00se walking straight through conversation, which is a etiquette faux pas, trying to get next to our seduction target, but the seduction target has none of it. They are now going to the statues. Both twins are going to be highlight this game, which is always a bit awkward, but more importantly, Skrewl00se has no mission completion.
Oh, mission completions will come in time. As of now, we start with a red flirt, unfortunately, which does mean that the seduction target just straight up bails on us. No progress gained, however, we can just chase and attempt to flirt again if we choose to do so.
Yeah, Skrewl00se moving his camera around to see if the bug will land. The walking bug will. Skrewl00se has now pulled off 2 hard to catch bugs on Redwoods, and with the little amount of windup, just we are getting a highlight here, but I think it's her statue. I don't think that's a huge concern for Skrewl00se. You expect this. I think that bug was likely, if not gone away fully, not seen. The idea of the bug might be in Rob's head.
I think there was a small shift that could have been visible, but I like the idea of going straight to the statue right afterwards to maybe confuse the sniper a little bit, because when they're gonna look at you later in the game and remember what they highlighted you for, they're probably more likely to
In the
remember
ring.
the inspects and the potential bugs that may or may not have happened.
A double talk here. We did our flirt and then did a white test banana bread. That is something that the AI won't do. They won't break their own talking animation. They'll be talking more, no matter how much they love talking. But on a map like Redwoods and against a sniper like Rob, Rob is getting better and better at catching small things, but I don't think it was seen. We need to be very top suspect, and while we could be with the bug, I think Skrewl00se is in a good position here.
And with 75 seconds to go, we can definitely afford to double flirt, but that will make our ending a little bit iffy as we... Ooh, Rov just shifted on us. I think the bug has been at least suspected as we go into the statues, finish our
Yeah,
inspects.
it might be a shot on the second like animation here. Once we've given enough time to really convince ourselves that we've done 2 different books. Shot doesn't come off. Rob's gonna need to shoot for flirt, and if you are given the moniker of a camping sniper, shooting for flirt is one of your least favorite things to do. And Rob is, if not the campiest sniper we have in competitive SpyParty, they're definitely on that list. You'll have to scroll down.
Moment of truth,
Some quick flirt. This could actually be a shot. Rob
and
considering
the
it. You can
laser is
see
on
the
us.
laser hitting him.
3, 2,
1.
1. We get away with
4-0.
it.
Skrewl00se. Rob clearly onto the game. Laser just sitting on him, really considering is Skrewl00se done? The size he is not, but we can tell you that Skrewl00se has completed his flirt, and I think it really came down to the bug again. This is fantastic stuff here from Skrewl00se. Just 2 really good bugs, but more importantly, and I think this always gets forgotten, also winning their sniper games on Redwoods. It's not free.
The other thing is, this is your 4th game, and I think between the 2 spy games, I think this one is actually more important to win because the sniper heavily suspected us, but decided to hold on in the end, which might result in some mental backlash for the sniper later on in the set and cause them to make more rash shots and maybe unbalance them just slightly, but it is a game of inches at this point.
Yeah, when you say unbalanced, it can go either way, right? You're like, okay, I need to shoot quicker than that. I need to not make that same mistake. But you also know that, so you're like, okay, well, I need to continue being patient. And the idea that you're thinking about this shouldn't be a thing that is in your thought process. What you actually want to do is just make the decisions instinctually instead of have this lingering thought. And a lingering thought it will be if Rob is to win this set, they're going to have to play a lot more SpyParty. If Skrewl00se wins this set, they could win it. I mean, it'd be just as much SpyParties as we've seen, plus 5 more games. I don't think that's going to happen, especially as we move on to Rob's comfort pick here, a doubled Aquarium. And Rob, really, it's their time to make a comeback, and Aquarium's a good place to do it. We're playing Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Is a venue pretty notable for some very interesting, shall we phrase it like that, spy strategies that can be implemented
Rob has
to...
just shown a bit of sloppiness so far in this set. We saw missed pads in game 1. Here, they were trying to do a delegate cheese and walked away from the bar. They just didn't click the button before they walked away. They were trying to do it so quickly, so easily, if you will. And they just don't have the actual delegates here, so there's no option. But while still looking suspicious, Rob's camera is moving about. I think if they were on sniper, they would literally be hitting the tilt button if they could. This is not the start that they necessarily wanted.
However, I think the pathing was pretty good as far as staying behind the shark goes, just not to get noticed, and that is the only skill you need as a spy on Aquarium, right? Just get 2 missions done, go to the statues, and just walk around. With
Yeah.
Sniper being none the wiser. 17% on the first flirt, not a lot of progress, and I think that is definitely something that Rolf might be thinking about as we chase the flirt for that second one.
Rob is going to be grumpy here, and for good reason. The ambassador kind of lined up in that middle conversation. Gives them both a easy bug target for the spy, but also an easy frame target for anybody who just happens to be in the area while this middle shark, the shark that blocks this conversation, is going by. Rob's moves into position here to be able to do a bug, but the ambassador went off to back statues. We still do have the flirt. We are at 64%, but Rob does not have as much progress and hasn't had much opportunity for progress as they'd like.
Ooh, the ambassador decently just walks all around us before going back to the other set of back statues.
Okay. I think Rob's gonna commit to the timer flirt. If they don't hit the green test here, they are really behind on mission progress. They do. Good stuff here from Rob. While they've had a few flubs, I think their action tests have still been fine so far. And they're gonna need to be. You're gonna need to win at least 2 spy games if you're going to be winning this set.
90 seconds on the clock, you need to complete one mission every half a minute,
Stuck?
and that's going to be a bug.
I did not think that that would count, but Rob did, and has been rewarded with it. Skrewl00se definitely hasn't shot him for it, but we also haven't taken the highlight, and this is a golden opportunity for Rob. Banana Bread here would be a third one. If they want to take it quickly or slowly, we'll see. But, oh, no, quickly might have been the option. Double agent leaves, and they're not even going to a conversation. Or are they?
Well,
Okay.
there's still the option of the chase potentially, and with the timer just clicking over that last minute, we might need to do some things. Going to the bar is going to be the first one. Are we getting sent, or are we trying to delegate? I think the second play might just be a little bit too slow.
Yeah, so with the high shark here, if we take, it's gonna look very suspicious, and it's gonna be on Skrewl00se if that looks like somebody who's timed a perfect frame on Rob, or if we're gonna end up. Did we
delegate?
just take a drink? Did we even delegate? I don't even see it there.
We did in fact delegate. However, with 16 seconds on the clock, we're pretty much guaranteed to be in the overtime, and I'm not quite sure what the fourth mission even would be in this particular scenario. Are we just
Banana
gonna
bread.
rush
It's still
the
here.
banana bread?
Yep. This will be triggering overtime because Boots is definitely not going to get it in.
There it
2 seconds
is.
left on the
Green
banana
test.
bread, and here comes the hold. Nobody's at statues. Nobody's been at statues. The
And
front
the highlights
conversation
are
is getting-
coming off. I love the fact that Skrewl00se is just highlighting the real banana bread, implying that that was that last mission. And I
If
think
Skrewl00se
that
doesn't
is...
know that Rob has a drink in hand and is moving right now, Rob gets the win here. Salmon, not 100% sure why he personally was getting the issue other than potentially considered for like a swap.
I like the potential play by Salmon to go to the statue and force the overtime shot, not on the perceived Purloin, but on a swap, or even just an inspect in the back there, trying to catch out Skrew, who's waiting for a Purloin because there was no one at the statues at the time of the clock hang.
Yeah, the weird thing here is Salmon definitely didn't have the banana bread.
Yeah. And what would he have done to hang the clock also, you know?
Yeah, I think Skrewl00se here
He just had a
dropping the ball a little bit, really did most of the play by highlighting the people who had the real banana bread. They limited the suspects and then juked themselves out.
Yeah.
I think trying to be a little bit too tricky and just tripping over themselves, unfortunately. It does mean that we do have a match going. Rob has scored their first on the board. We are 4-1.
But also look at that bug just behind the tail of the shark. Half of our body is visible, but the bug hand isn't, and that's the most important part. Ooh, so nasty.
Yep.
Okay, and Skrewl00se, who's had 2 spy wins so far, now starts up on Aquarium as Red Dress. 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, the first loss for Skrewl00se, but let's see if it will be the last. The first flirt, unfortunately not a green test, but there's slightly more time allowed for the spy on Aquarium, so I think it won't fester us too much in the later stages of the game.
I hate just every bone in my body, the flirt into watch check. It looks so spy-like to me. Skrewl00se here is going to start up an early statue. This is going to eat an early highlight too. But we've seen Skrewl00se be willing to make plays in their previous games. I wouldn't be too surprised if this is setting us up for success with an inspect swap that potentially ends up behind Shark. Rob will know it. Rob picks Aquarium. They know what they've got themselves into. But the
And
early inspect here definitely gives you the opportunity to finish quickly.
that is a really treacherous entry in the conversation. I think we're basically inside of Disney over here, and the stop talk doesn't add any less suspicion. I think
Mm-hmm.
Rolf has shifted, but he didn't shift on anyone in particular, so I believe the thing is we got seen entering this conversation like this, and this little mistake might just cost us the game later down the line.
Yeah, Rob's gotten better at catching smaller things uh, as he's become experienced. Both these players, I believe, have over 10,000 games now. They've really hit that mark of seen everything, and then just need to categorize. Okay, which of the things have I seen before? This is this happening? No bug here from Skrewl00se. Ambassador does give us the opportunity, but I think Skrewl00se cleverly and correctly has decided not to take the bug. Big quick on the pickup, making sure that we do get this fingerprint before General steals it from us. And if we're trying to complete inspects and prints against someone like Rob, it's going to need to be a typical print that's been there for a very long time. I just can't imagine that we're going to get away with another briefcase or follow up the ambassador to a statue and get away with it.
I think we might be finishing fingerprints and not doing the inspects. We do get a delegate cheese, however, the highlight will not go down. So is a known strategy, and I think that Rob will just keep the suspicion on us just in case. And as we go to the statues,
Early shot here from Rob. Notably, we have not completed a single mission at the time of this shot, but is done with Skrewl00se's shenanigans. We've touched 2 statues, we've touched a print. Uh, we haven't done a contact here, but we've been near the ambassador. The ambassador went by us. I think in Rob's mind, Skrewl00se is definitely the spy. They might not think that they've completed, but they're just ready to take the shot. And it does result in Rob up for not up, but Rob making a little bit of a comeback here. Now 4-2 down.
it does result in Rolf being up 2-0 on Aquarium, which is his doubled venue. And yeah, taking a little bit of an earlier shot than we would expect, but also it's. Let's keep in mind the last spy game that Skrew has managed to get past Rolf just because he held, right? That might.
Mm-hmm.
And that has actually influenced the sniper's decision over here, preferring to go a little bit quicker in this particular game.
Very good point,
Anyway,
Yosh. Let's
a
get started.
little, a little bit of an interesting spy choice as Rolf pulls out Theft in our third game of Aquarium, and we shall begin this one in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 big reasons for Taft to be played. One is he is a quick character. There are other quick characters, but he is surprisingly the quickest. The other, and I think this is more notable, is the back-facing statues. The one that Irish is holding currently is a statue that we could swap in the future and hope that our big body blocks the swap, or at least threatens the idea of a swap. The big concern here is actually it's a double-edged sword. If we go to a statue late, even if we have no intent to swap, I would suggest going to one of the side statues, because if we go to the back statues, we're going to get credit for the swap quite often.
Well, let's see. As of now, none of those violent intentions are visible as we just stand around in the conversation enjoying a nice party in this aquarium. And as the ambassador joins right next to us, maybe there is something more than talking we can do.
Yeah, Rob hasn't actually completed missions and is definitely keeping the rest of the party on screen. If the ambassador comes by us and the shark is in the way, I'm sure Rob will still take the bug, change plans. But right now, it looks like we might just be surveying the party and seeing if we can potentially get a frame off, try and push the nerve situation, because Rob is 1-2 in a row, and it is high stakes. Nope, we're just going to complete missions. Skrewl00se would have need to see the very tippy toes of Taft, and Taft's shoes are brown or black, they're gonna be hard to really see. I think Rob might be credited with it, but I don't think you let either Queen or Taft get away with that bug. But it doesn't feel like it was seen.
Yeah, it is a pretty nice helicopter bug. It is very sketchy looking on the spy side, but you have to keep in mind that there's this big shark between us and the sniper, so
Mm-hmm.
crew didn't even see Rov move here. Just maybe a small glimpse of the shoes returning back into position, and as you've said, that background is definitely kinda allowing us to blend in. 51% on the flirt, 2 missions done, and the third is at half progress at 100 seconds to go. Pretty nice space.
Rob's shaking his camera like he's unhappy that seduction target didn't let us timer flirt. Honestly, the seduction target leaving shortly after we finish flirt isn't truly a bad thing, though. It does mean that we will need to get into a close position if we're going to be doing it in 2. But we can always just visit them at this bookcase, not necessarily in a pretty way, because there'll be 3 at the bookcase, but we can still finish here. No problem.
Going to the bookshelf here, and
Yeah.
moment of just white.
Yep, and this just white is going to give us a bit more hassle. While we definitely want to finish flirt, the 4th mission is going to be the hard one, and this is going to make us take a bit more time. Rob's just going to go straight in and flirt and get out, and this could give Skrewl00se a reason to dislike him, but this might look like a delegate send in, is Rob's idea at least.
I mean,
That's a demand. That's a
that
hard line.
was the most
Are we
suspicious
shock
thing we've
walking?
did all game, and we are behind the shark, so Skrew has to find us
You don't need to go
somehow.
this far, by the way.
Unfortunately, he doesn't.
Skrewl00se just shoots wheels. Okay. Rob taking the list here, looking at the sniper's side. Let's just watch those last 10 seconds again, if you will, Guidos.
And you can see Skrew immediately recognizing after Taft does not show on the bottom half of the shark, and seeing the list gun just trying to find it and shooting the
Looks like
first
he
person
almost
that
had
comes
a shot.
inside.
He almost had a
Literally,
shot
in this
on him.
particular case, unfortunately, it wasn't
Oh,
quite
that
the
was
spy.
very close,
Yeah.
actually. We did have the laser on Taft's head. Skrewl00se sees it, and then shoots in response, I believe.
Yeah, it's hard to say
In
with
this sort
the
of situation, I guess
with
you
the
could
latency
start
of the
just
game. Maybe he
mashing
didn't have
the
as
click
much time.
button and see if the spy comes into your realm. I think the reaction here, and then it resulting in a shot is very funny. But yeah, this is welcome to Aquarium. This was expected. This is why Rob picked the venue.
Yeah, there we go. That was a
And
brief moment.
legend says that Roth has never came back from a 0-4 deficit, but now he's 1 game away. He just has to snipe Skrewl00se, who has picked Wheels, the person he shot last game, as his spy for this particular one. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Shoutouts to anybody who's ever played SpyParty casually, or even players who are now playing at this competitive level in their first games. Everybody always had their favorite character, and for a lot of people, it is Wheels. The idea of Wheels being shot and now us playing Wheels is very funny to me.
Well,
Time out to start. Is it only gonna be one? It's gonna be only one. It's gonna be respectful. We're not even like trying to escape the calling it the windows. A bit silly, but the pad.
speaking of things that new players might be doing, there's an immediate timer. Unfortunately, only one, but who knows? Maybe there's... Nope, was even visible as we get highlight over here. That doesn't look like a game we'll win.
Yeah, I know when I ended up playing Rog, he was much earlier in his career. I think this is a new and evolved Rog, but one of the few things I saw in his gameplay was that at the time he was still weak to time ads. It's definitely something where if that's a known quantity, you are going to have to put time. And I think Rov might be rewarded here. I think this highlight is for time ad, and especially with Skrewl00se doing an early time ad on Redwoods, I think the jig might be up.
And the other important thing about damage is you never really see someone time it in just once in one game. It's usually a part of a game plan, so you do it in several venues, so to speak. So Once,
The early time ads for sure. Like a
w-
late time ad, 60 to 90 seconds, trying to
yeah,
just do it because you've done the missions. Every player is in their wheelhouse, or at least should.
the
Those
point
early
is,
time ads are play.
the point being, once you catch Skrew doing it once, you can pretty sure to suspect him to do it again. And in this particular case, it is rewarded, it seems like. 83% on the flirt, that being the only progress we have done in this game, and actually as a matter of doing things, even just as a person in the party. Going to this bookshelf is probably the first thing we've done after walking around in the conversations, or rather sitting around in the conversations.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind another time ad to be honest. Just make the game be a bit longer.
This induction target leaves on us. That's a little bit
Ah,
unfortunate. We
well,
still have a... Sorry.
you're good. Continue.
We, we still have a book in hand, and the ambassador is right next to us, but in this particular case, we don't really want to bug because the shark is a long way away, and Zerov's eye is just straight up on us, drilling down. Doesn't necessarily invoke the best imagery in the mind of the spy.
Okay, flirt now done. Book in hand, and we are kind of rolling with the shark. I think this might be a cheeky microfilm attempt. Rob doesn't necessarily have to shoot for this, but I would like it if they catch it. Um,
Well,
Rudless is going to have to put it back in eventually, and we're not dead.
not yet, at the least. However, we only have 2 missions done. There wasn't even a banana bread just yet. As we join the conversation with the double agent, they decide to bail on us. 70 seconds to go. The double agent walks right past the conversation as he redirects to the back of the venue. This is a bit painful.
Yeah, I think from Rob's perspective, this has just been a quiet party. Microfilm doesn't have any show. Like, there's no message. I think the ambassador's been fairly safe, and we've kind of given up on the only highlight on time ad characters. There's been a lot more highlights, but I don't really think anybody's truly threatening uh, a civilian shot without some verification.
Banana bread.
There's a banana bread, there's the lowlights for it. Quite a number of those, and we do get shifted on. However, the person shifted on is not quite us. It's going to be Kane instead. Maybe some more bug suspicion on them. We do have
Yeah.
15 seconds to go.
Okay, Kane. If you could just click the bug button for us and get shot, that would be great. Oh, are we dancing? No, we're literally trying to act like it's a real thing. So
I respect it.
we were trying to get behind the shark, but you can watch the replay here of where precisely we needed to be. Wheels is definitely good at this. Yeah, we just didn't get behind the shark quick enough. Wheels, while they are shorter and is definitely a very good character to get behind the shark, is still a slower character, and that we had to get behind the shark, and that really the only threat at the end of this party is a bug from someone like Kane, or obviously Skrewl00se says Wheels. Rob, very quick on the trigger, not letting this deviancy be
There
gotten away
are
with.
actually a few threats to this play. There is the obvious one where you get behind the shark and just wait the rest of the timer over there in safety because the sniper literally can't shoot you. But there's also just you potentially swerving in all those weird ways and not letting the sniper take the shot because this is a very precarious sideline to hold.
I
However,
actually, when it first happened, I thought Skrewl00se was going to do a helicopter bug similar to what we saw Rob do, and then just use the conversation. But the allure of the great white shark here is too much, and I think my decision, the
Yeah.
idea of
Well, I
just
think
trying to
the
use
this
Disney
is a harder
Cowboy and Taft
venue to
to
dance
cover
on in a
would have probably
conversation.
also resulted in a shot. Rob is very good at clicking on
Yeah.
heads.
Well, I do feel like for this venue, dancing the conversation is a little harder just because you get a higher viewpoint, so you're almost never truly like behind anybody else, even someone as short as Wheels.
Yeah, we can analyze the last 10 seconds here as much as we want. Perhaps the issue is that we had to do a bug in the last 10 seconds
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
We have seen Rov take, I believe, 4 games in a row. This is now 4-4. A very swinging match so far, but good resolve here from Rov to hold shots. He didn't shoot Kane, and to hold the match to bring it back to 4-4.
The players have a 100% win rate on the venues that they have chosen, and judging by that statistic, I think that this ballroom game will end in a 2-0 sweep by Skrewl00se. However, there's only one way to find out, as Rolf has chosen mom slash Teal slash Rachel slash however you want to call her
Rachel,
on our
to never
first
continue.
game of ballroom.
In 3,
In
2, 1, play it.
yes, Rachel, because she is Mr. R after all.
Now, I don't actually remember what she is inside the game backlog. Miss Rov? Rov starts with R. I like it. Rov playing
Either
as Miss
way,
Rov here, 34% flirt, and very standard start here to a ballroom game.
a lot of people on the right, which means that those statues in the back might be a little bit interesting for us to pursue maybe later down the line. However, as of now, we are just gonna innocently get a drink and keep on talking.
Yeah, Skrewl00se over time has definitely become a more and more behavioral player. Taking an innocent drink here probably gives us the right to never take an innocent drink for the rest of the whole set. So I don't hate the play here. Well, all we were really trying to do was get the timer flirt, and we did. Though they're both white. We're at 68%.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the nicest flirts right there, but it's something that we can do with only one flirt to go if we're gonna be standing right next to our seduction target. But the more important thing is what will we choose to do for the other missions at this party?
Yeah, and that's usually a question that we bring up on ballrooms. Definitely on that list of what missions are you going to really do. You're always going to be looking to complete flirt. You're always going to be looking to complete contact. We do often see that middle statue, though it is quite deadly. To note, characters like Twin and now Smallman should definitely be considered as completing statues. So we do also have the option of framing or like semi-framing if we can get them in a purloin chain, or if we were to go swap the statue after Smallman now, it would be very interesting to see how Skrewl00se would react.
Well, as of now, just gonna wait a little bit further. We don't really wanna knock out any of our potential frame targets if we're gonna go for the frame, so Smallman, not being
I
in the conversation, definitely not the good time for us to banana bread.
If Twin rejects here, I would love to see a purloin. I don't think we're going to do it because we have the briefcase in hand, but there was a quick reject there from Rockery's a highlight, another reject there from Double Statue Visitor Twin. Skrewl00se might still be distracted by the fact that a purloin could be coming off here. This purloin not happening as Twin takes is probably a sigh of relief for our sniper. Rob taking a purloin here now is definitely going to be known as long as the reject here is seen.
Well, a banana bread to cover for the purloin is actually pretty good for us because the laser will dash around just to see if there's maybe any other people who will need to be low lit.
Double
However,
agent taking. This will know that it's not Boots who took the list.
the list is gone and is seen being
Yeah,
gone. And Mrs. Rolf gets shot. Very unfortunate for Mr. Rolf, who
yeah. The
will.
narrative here of the list, there was some very uh high suspect people rejecting. It gets taken. Skrewl00se angles to see it, and then immediately after, Rob decides to do his banana bread into purloin play. I'm not surprised that Skrewl00se was on this, just because uh, the list had to be watched for like the last minute of the game. There really wasn't too much more than just this purloin potentially happening.
Well, just have to win the spy game now to continue the 100% sweep of your own venue. Skrewl00se picking up Rocker in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
But we have a drink in hand and we didn't even take control. We could still bug here. This is a very unfortunate situation for the sniper if this is an AI or the spy, because it's just taking up a lot of resources to just watch for that potential bug. But Skrewl00se does not take it, and I think probably a good thing. I feel like Rob was actually hawking that down.
We are Berlin.
Banana bread.
Hello, Mr.
Contact
Checker.
is inspect swap. Are we going for it?
OP?
Obi? Inspect first. Okay. The quick reject here and being taken there by the double agent. While low lights are being taken, Rob is tired of that Redwoods game and is just willing to shoot for the middle statues. I would have personally liked if we waited for the second or third cycle. There's no actual reason to shoot here, but it's a spy.
First of all, that's the other example of Rov shooting early now that they know that they have waited a little bit too much earlier in the set. And second of all, yeah, just kind of 2 games of Ballrooms that ended in the same way. It's a double agent taking Purloin, killing the spy off. Pretty amusing similarity. However, the more
that's our
important
first game that the person who didn't pick the map actually won.
Indeed. And well, Terrace is a pick by Rov, so now the ball is definitely in Skrewl00se's court, where he needs to find a way to return the serve, so to speak. Rov definitely not gonna make it easier as he picks Kane. Let's see if he is a true Kane gamer in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Swap off, very standard. And us aiming to seek the seduction target, but Alice has done it better. Alice just there looking like she's flirting with Arbu. And a bunch of highlights here for Skrewl00se. None of them on Rob, and I'm not 100% sure. Do you know, Riosh?
I guess probably just flirt highlights, like maybe Skrewl00se just playing it like a bigger balcony, not trying to look for that third mission, but rather trying to hope that he gets to track flirts successfully. Which
I'm surprised that Alice didn't get one then in that case, but I mean, it's correct, right? Rob hasn't completed a flirt. I don't think he's even talked yet.
Well, he hasn't been loaded either, so the sniper definitely is doing something right.
If the target wants to come to us, we would have a great flirt and a great banana bread. Instead, we have a quite good banana bread, and now the seduction target comes to us.
It is a white banana bread, as is the first flirt, 24% on the clock, and there's the fun game of Terrace begins. You only have one double agent, so it's known to both sides, so Rov knows which people at the venue don't have the banana bread and can try to play around that. For example, this real banana bread for that twin looks hella nice right now, if we can arrange.
Likewise, Alice, who I mentioned earlier, was next to Taft, has kindly had Taft step next to them and has now talked 3 times in a row. Rob, I don't think, is going to be the top suspect, despite the fact that the banana bread that they did was white, that they were talking during that banana bread. If Twin wants to come next to us and send us for Purloin, in quotation marks, because we would be the one actually being the proactive person in that instance. AI don't send us to Purloin.
So double agent joins Twin in the conversation. If we want to take that second banana bread, that might just be the point where we do... Nope, never mind. Gonna chase our seduction target, however, another white flirt. We can't catch a break, 83%, still gonna need one more.
Yep, everything about that was gross, so we didn't hit the green test. And also just doing the flirt before picking up the statue makes it a slightly messier affair. We are going to complete the inspects, keep the option open. Completing on inspects on Terrace is a good way to get a bullet in the back of your head. But I think at least having the option is good. I think the preferred mission is still going to be bugged, though, right? There's not too many other reasons to play Kane. Purloin would also be acceptable. We have every option in the world, but we need to actually do them.
Well, we could have been having a fingerprint or something, but, you know. 30 seconds on the clock, we need to commit to a game plan at some point. We still need to finish this flirt. The fake banana bread is gonna be let off for Twin, I'm sure of it. However, he's not quite talking. And the sniper's not quite
Now he's
shooting.
talking, but it would have to be a flirt with Alice. The delegate goes off here while we've potentially been considering
It's gone.
10 seconds here. It's going to be a shot on wheels or us. Lasers lined up. You have to take this shot. You cannot wait for overtime. It's not an option. Good job, Skrewl00se.
And we return the serve.
Yeah, in a party there where could have shot wheels, could have shot twin, Skrewl00se really taking their time on their consideration if they need to shoot Kane, but does take the correct shot. This is really what Terrace can bring you, these very stressful, multi-suspect games, despite it being a very open and friendly venue on its face. Good stuff from Skrewl00se, and this kind of stops Rob's momentum a bit. Rob has been winning a few too many games recently, so this is an important one for Skrewl00se.
Well, time to get back on the momentum train and start rolling down the hill as we spawn as Red Dress. Right behind the Ambassador, although I'm not sure the bug is in the books. However, there's only one way to find out in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Dragon Hand is going to make this pretty untenable.
Unfortunately.
Also, it's Rob. If you take that bug and it's in any way sloppy, you are getting shot. So, Skrewl00se has been pretty good about just taking AI control a few seconds in and not really risking it. 46% of the flirt, interesting amount. Just kind of taking the natural flirt instead of forcing ourselves in for the 51%, but it's still a very good amount. It's going to make it very hard for us not to be able to finish flirt in 3. And we're going to the bar here early. There's no fingerprint, so this would be either an instant action or trying to set up for a purloin. There's only been like 2 or 3 people, but you're really only going to have 2 or 3 people who've ever been to the bar recently enough to be considered for the purloin anyways, if we decide to actually do it.
I like going for it early just to keep the option open. Potentially, if the game just hands it over to you, you can pick up the opportunity and get it done with.
Okay.
Sending Wheels over here, who has a drink, so he will need to gulp it before taking the list.
That's not a good highlight. The rule with highlights is the less reason the highlight has happened, the worse it is for your livelihood.
The list is gone.
Wheels taking, the lowlights come immediately. It is a 2-person game, Wheels and Skrewl00se, and Skrewl00se is probably the higher suspect here. If
and
Rob
also has the
believes it.
real banana bread if that comes off, so we need to wait for Wheels to talk for us to attempt the banana bread if need be, but no, we go for it, it's white, and we get shot immediately. Wow.
I like the play. This is a play that I've definitely used a lot of time. I might be the godfather of it, to be honest. The banana bread sip. To explain it, we tried to take a sip and then do the banana bread. And the risky part of it is you need to hit the green test, because if you don't do it, you're going to be halfway through your sip and then start talking. And if you try and do that in real life, that's a spit take. Rob, already down to 2 suspects, sees it immediately. I think he shot before it even happened.
Well, to be fair, this is a pretty ridiculous breach of etiquette, and Rov being British will not stand for it.
What are we looking at score-wise now?
Actually, tied 6-6,
Yep.
with both singles being tied between the players. It's up to the last 2 venues. The first one being Gallery.
Really good stuff from both players. Rob definitely still has the momentum here after bringing it back from 4-0. And we are back on Skrewl00se's venue, though. And Skrewl00se and Rob, the venues that they've picked have been going well for them. So it could go either way here. Rob hitting back the Kane gaming strategy in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Well, it hasn't necessarily worked for him last time, so I'm not quite sure that's the play, but every game is different, and maybe this one might just be the key.
Shoutouts to Kane, by the way. Despite being one of the few disabled characters, right? We have Wheels too. They are not a slow character. We have characters that are slower despite them just rocking this cane. They are going to be able to be quick enough, and it's important on a map like Gallery, where being able to chase your seduction target, get across the whole venue in case we need to go to a double agent. Having a slow character is usually a huge detriment.
The other
Right.
thing that helps enormously is hitting those greens on flirts, as we get a second green test flirt as our seduction target just enters. However, a little bit too far from us, so only 76% on that flirt. But it's a very, very nice start for a gallery.
Yeah, we've had this good banana bread setup, at least in regards to the amount of people in conversation. I'm interested to see how Rov treats this banana bread, because an early banana bread results in so many lowlights on gallery, but a late banana bread is not guaranteed. There are so many paths the double agent could go to, or not conversations, if you try to leave it late. Another green test, and it was needed. That was not going to be anything close if we hit a white test. So 3 green tests from Rov, and we've hit a interesting way to. Okay. We need to watch the bug here. We failed the one
Oh
while he was
lord.
walking. We can do
And we
the
bug again,
standing.
and we fail it again.
The ambassador, the bastard, did a little juke there
Wow.
right as we did the bug, and just walked straight out of our area and then walked straight back in. At the exact moment that our arm was trying to put the listening device on him, he was outside of the circle. We just stand there with no bug in pocket, and only one mission, though this fingerprint on the book with the action test is good. Rob is getting all of their action tests. They really gained this momentum that I'm talking about is at least showing in their action tests.
And wow, this is just the ambassador has been bribed by Skrewl00se, it seems like, and we bug
That's
again.
a rage bug. You get shot for
However,
that. Come on, Skrewl00se.
nah, the
No,
cane hand. It's a cane hand. You can't shoot a cane bug.
the walk out of it there to hide the standing animation to change the animation entirely, I think has saved Rov. That being said, we've been in the vicinity of the ambassador a lot. While we don't have a highlight, we should be giving Rov no suspicion for bug, no matter which way you cut it for Skrewl00se. And Rob is still going to need to do a lot to finish. We still need to do 2 more missions on a very large venue.
Yeah, definitely can't
Ooh,
not
here we
give
go.
him suspicion because first of all, he is Kane, you know.
Ambassador, if
And
you want to put that book back in the green bookcase,
Banana bread.
all fans of spies would appreciate it.
well, speaking of greens, there's a green banana bread. No more extra suspicion on us. Just that fingerprint to finish off the game. Let's see if we get there in time. Does red dress smudge it though? But
Are we picking up this? This is so close to the ambassador. Okay, Twin's gonna get shot here for being in the realm of the ambassador talking and the contact for the double agent. I'm sure this might make sense, but Rov deciding to go for the briefcase over the bookcase here is an interesting choice at the end of this game. Either way, Rov takes a lead. I'm not sure that's been really a thing this set. It's definitely been Skrewl00se, at least with the early lead. Now Rov, it's not match point, right? We're playing till 9, but uh,
yes, we are.
definitely a very important game. And this might be a sign of nerves from Skrewl00se. Skrewl00se definitely historically has had a bit of issues with nerves, and has often been playing against players of very high caliber. So it could go either way. I mean, they have so much experience against top players and have gotten a few wins at times, but they've also just been a bit shaky when given the opportunity. This shot, anytime you see a civilian shot, is a bit gross. It's going to be Skrewl00se playing against the apparently fallible sniper of Rov, but doing it with Smallman in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, I've heard your magic words and all of your narratives, but who cares about playing against a good player when you're playing Smallman on Gallery, boys? It's time for the cheese special.
We've
Let's see.
seen dancing not go particularly well for Skrewl00se on things like Aquarium, but that's mainly the big perk of Smallman here is that bad conversation usually has enough people that you can finish a bug or a purloin and have a good opportunity to uh, boogie. You can move around while the sniper is trying to shoot you, and it is very hard because Smallman is, by his name, small.
Well, we start the progress by getting that green flirt on us. Pretty nice, 51% on that particular scroll bar as we just moved to the books. Are we trying to accomplish some particular bookshelf cheese? Who knows? We might just be doing exactly that. Let's see. Never mind. Rov knows. Rov knows all of the strategies. There's a small minute bookshelves. There's a highlight on small minute bookshelves. You
This is
can't
rough.
just not. You can't
We,
just not do it.
we can't. We also can't not take flirts. We need to be taking flirts when given the opportunity on gallery. But this is what is considered Smallman's spot. This is where Smallman is definitely his most dangerous, and that we're having to stand here just to be able to finish our flirt is quite unfortunate. You're gonna get more heat here, especially if the ambassador comes back here, just because you're standing in the spot.
However, it can't be that dangerous because you do have a sightline on him, you know? There's a
Are we doing
banana
slam
bread.
into book?
Well, we are over there. We did
Up,
slam
up,
the
up, up,
book. We did back.
up, right,
There's the
really up.
dance. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
No.
0. We got it.
And I've never seen this work. Somebody always takes a shot. It doesn't happen. We talk about it all the time. You often don't even get there. You just get shot for going to the bookcase or going for the bug. What we end up with is
no.
Oh, need to watch that replay, Kledos, please.
Notice how hard it is for the sniper to actually just get a hold on us. It's not like Aquarium where you are just desperate to find anything, something to shoot at. It's a lot harder because you can't just look at the shark and shift click. You have to get Smallman specifically, otherwise you're shooting someone out of that human cover in front of him.
The real MVP here is Orange Sari, and with her long orange dress being just a block of things that you're not allowed to shoot, it provided the major cover. We don't have as
also
many
shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to Seek. He Rob was set to shoot Smallman in the feet, but then Seek went down to pick up he went to pick up the briefcase and just blocked it like a pro.
Huge.
Okay. Chat also stealing my ideas. I didn't read chat, I promise.
Yeah.
Good stuff here. I think Rob has to be a bit more cognizant of the microphone bug play and just be shooting at the bookcase if we're going to be critical. But really, this is just the sort of thing that you need to do. You need to be punching Rob. You can't be doing punch him in the chest. He'll just take those punches. You need to aim for the head, and this is what we call in gaming a headshot.
Or the groin. He is a pretty small man after all. However, this win does mean that we are at 7-7, which means that we will get all of the games in our normal time, and maybe, who knows, if they split pub as well, we will get into overtime. However, on Irene Adler, we will choose Irish for an Irish pub, I'm going to assume. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
To make it clear here, guys, if Rob wins both of these games, Rob wins. If Skrewl00se wins both of these games, Skrewl00se wins. And we could potentially even get more SpyParty if it goes 1-1. It's going to be what is known as Sniper Arcade. 3 of 7 pub, but if you look at that clock, it only has 2 minutes left. While we have 51% flirt, you're not going to have that many options. You need to be very fluid. And this is Rob's pick. This is something that Rob has said that they are comfortable on, that they are willing to snipe with this low time but high pressure, and that they're willing to make plays. We've seen, I think Skrewl00se could be said to be the more playmaking spy so far. It's going to need to be something magical or potentially a civilian shot. They are also quite common in this sort of setup. Rob, lining up a potential purloin here, it's going to be a delegate. If you can find somebody who's already been to statues, somebody who's already been credited with some suspicion, this could easily result in a shot just by itself. Very powerful stuff. Any thoughts here, Yosh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still thinking about the fact that the entire set we've just seen does not necessarily matter. All that matters is this little pair of games on pub, and Rolf definitely does get to finish flirt, I think, if he hits yet another green, but it will be kind of close. We still don't have a banana bread, so we need to complete those 3 missions to get over the tipping point. However, if we get a good banana bread, if we get a good purloin, that might be enough for Skrew to err and safe shot, which might be enough for us. There's the banana bread. There's a highlight for talking during a banana bread right next to our double agent, and all of the highlights for real are coming out there.
Delegate taken off. None of the characters who were in real for that banana bread were the characters I had pinned as potential suspicious characters. People have been to statues, for example. Rob
Going
needs
right
this
next.
green test if it's going to be finishing missions. Otherwise, it will need to be a
Oh
civilian shot.
no!
No
Oh
green test.
no!
It might have to be a time ad, but a time ad right now is such clearly death. It might if
Yeah,
it's
but
going to be a civilian shot, it would need to be red dress, no fingerprint shot. They're going to
we're
watch
going
the
for it.
purloin, but it's not going to happen. We didn't
The
trigger
flirt is
that.
done. The bug.
Bug
We get OT.
overtime. No!
Oh no.
They shot the ambassador too.
Man, Smallman is just unshootable. You can't shoot him. Look at it. Look at the
Wow.
little crosshairs. This is gonna be so tilting for Skrewl00se.
Such a rough game. So for
Wow.
both sides, just to go through it, Rov, 17 seconds left, needs to hit this green flirt to really make the end game in any way considered doable. They don't. They go to Windows just to break up the flirt. They go in with 3 seconds left, heads up, try and get a bug, successfully get the bug, 0.5 seconds left on the clock, and with the bug done and apparently not seen, perhaps because Queen was taking a drink and watching for anything else. The shot is lined up on Smallman, but it's missed entirely. We shoot the ambassador, who's kind of the messenger in this situation, and Rov takes the advantage, if you will. If you're considering this like tennis, this is advantage, and to hold serve, Skrewl00se now needs to win as spy against the sniper that is Rov.
Which is going to be very harsh, but taking out a page of our opponent's book, we do pick a Kane. Let's see if Skrewl00se is a Kane gamer enough to get us into overtime, or will Rov employ his darkest sniper strategies to get this win over once and for all in 3, 2, 1, playing it. There is
Yeah.
a one in.
Real quick before the action starts, how do you approach this if you're Skrewl00se? Are you looking for a very quick game? Are you looking for a quiet game? Are you looking for a civ shot?
Oh, Lord. I don't know. I mean, it's probably best to just look at what the party gives you, which is a very generic advice, so I'm not going to give it because I'm bad at
No, this could
reading
be
the party as well. Wow. Okay,
That's
we,
so
we get the
cute.
chance. We got a chaos bug attempt early on as we tried to enter into pub, as you were asking the questions, there were so many people in the doorway. And now we get one essentially out of vision. 35% on the flirt, however, might be an issue.
We've got about 100 seconds left. Contact here seems reasonable. We could also chase our seductive target to flirt. Rob could potentially shoot for the flirt and the contact and just existing near the ambassador, but that would be a very impressive shot. The worst thing that can happen here is our double agent leaves while we start banana bread, or our seduction target gets us real trouble. White here is not helpful for a cause. If
And
the bug
Smallman is
wasn't
out on
seen,
BB
it
as
doesn't
well.
matter.
And Smallman is out as well.
It's fine. Smallman is low lit, but if we can finish our flirt, and if we can get near Smallman, we can potentially do it as a timer flirt. We just need to go quickly. This should be Skrewl00se's game. We're deciding not to get close to him, and that is risky. We now need a green test.
And we talk, and we get shot.
Rob doesn't show the amount of suspicion they had. They probably had more about the bug than they showed us, or definitely showed the spy. That is the set, but what a set it was. Really showing the high quality play and the play making that we expected from Gold. Congratulations to Rob, big GG's. They'll move on to Platinum. But while we congratulate Rob, I really want to take a moment. Skrewl00se fought really hard from the beginning of the set, where they went up 4-0, something that nobody's ever done against Rob, to bring it to the last game and finding some very clever plays, including Smallman dancing, including some very fantastic bugs. I really want to give Skrewl00se their shout out. They deserve more than what they resulted in, which is a loss. Your thoughts, Yosh?
And yeah, Rolf has won, and I think we all were kind of coming into this match with the expectation of Rolf winning.
Mhm.
But what a set. And Skrewl00se actually did make Rolf sweat for it, which I'll be honest, not necessarily something that I would have been expecting, but this is a pretty solid set by him, and I guess I'm just underrating Skrewl00se a lot. So that's on me.
Yeah, if I was still in gold, if I was one of the players that was still in gold, I'd be afraid next season.
Yeah, so we're gonna move into platinum with Rov, and while
Yeah.
this was what was predicted, people did expect that Rov would potentially do cool promotions. They're moving into a platinum that has OP rights, Lagorv Janine, and Pofke, and then poor Cotty, who's also very, very good, who has won gold previously. It's gonna be a ridiculous division. SCL is not stopping anytime soon here.
And
And
speaking of SCL, you can actually sign up for it, and I believe the next time we are gonna be starting the game with new players is in like 6 weeks or so. So
Yeah.
the
I
time
think
is
so.
still here for you to sign up, but the time will run out. And the way you sign up for the game is, well, first of all, you probably need to buy the game. SpyParty.gg, I believe, is the site where you get it, or you can get it on Steam. The game's called SpyParty. The game is a lot more competitive than you would assume looking at all of the party game videos on the YouTubes, as you might have imagined by watching this broadcast. And also, you might need,
except for the smoking dance.
except for the Smallman dance, but we don't talk about the Smallman dance.
Yeah.
And you might need to join the Discord, discord.gg/spyparty, I believe is link.
Yeah, for
And yeah,
anybody who's watching this on Twitch or YouTube and is considering joining, please note it is a tiered system. If you're coming in as a new player, you'll be playing new or newer players. You won't have to deal with Rob Sniper unless you continue to win over and over again. You won't have to deal with Skrewl00se's spy flabbergasting you and bamboozling you at every corner.
which
You'll be playing newer players, and that's a good thing.
honestly,
Because
if you're gonna get to play a Rov's sniper after signing up just by rising up and up and up, I think Rov should be the one scared of you, not you scared of him.
absolutely.
Either way, I think that's going to be the end of today's festivities. We just get one match today, I
Yep.
believe.
Yep. Sadly, yeah. The other divisional championship game I had a forfeit, so it was not complete. And just how it
Yeah.
goes. Spy Party is a very emotionally demanding game, and sometimes sometimes you gotta step
Shit
away.
happen.
Sometimes stepping away is the best move.
So yeah, this is the end of this particular cascade of games. You can probably see us at some point in the future with the next cascade, which I definitely am looking forward to getting stomped in. Thanks for watching us. Thanks
Yeah.
for enjoying this game with us. I have been Yash. This has been Podno, my co-caster, and hosting us was Kleetos, as always.
Yep. Thank you. See you later.
Thank you, Kleetos, and thank you to the players for such a fantastic set. Has really
Indeed.
made
Yep.
my day. GG's, guys.
See ya.